Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my YouTube channel where I'll be analyzing data using SPSS and other softwares. So today we learn how we are going to analyze or to do the correlation analysis, that is the Pearson's. So first we would like to understand what's correlation and its purpose before we do the analysis. Correlation tells us how things are related or how variables are related to one another. It shows us whether the variables are moving to the same direction or not. We have the positive correlation. For the positive correlation, it shows or tells us the variables are moving in the same direction. But for negative correlation, it's where when one variable increases, the other variable decreases. So they are moving in the opposite directions. And then when there is no correlation, that's when the correlation is zero. It means that there is no clear relationship. Why do we use correlation? Use correlation helps us to see patterns or predict relationships. So it helps us to predict relationships. For example, a school might want to check if the study hours affect the mini scores or the grades. The school might want to check to see whether the number of hours the student studies is being reflected in the grade they are getting or the number of marks they are scoring. So that's a correlation. They want to check that relationship. Or on a business, you want to see if advertising affects the sales. You want to see that if there is the relationship between the sales and the advertising. Yeah, so correlation is measured by the number called R. So correlation is measured by R. So in other words, it's being noted by R, which ranges from -1 to +1. So +1, it means that the correlation is a perfect positive correlation, meaning that the variables are moving in the same direction. Then when the R is 0, it means that there is no correlation, so there is no relationship. When R is -1, it means there's a perfect negative correlation. Where when one variable increases, the other variable decreases. When the correlation or R is 0.1 to 0.3, you can say that that's a weak correlation. When the R is equals to 0.4 to 0.6, you can say that's a moderate correlation. When R is 0.7 to 0.9, you can say that is a strong correlation. So if it's positive, you can say that's a strong positive correlation. Or when it's a negative, you can say that's a negative strong correlation. Yeah, whichever. Then now, you can remember, correlation does not mean causation. Just because two things are related doesn't mean that one causes the other. After getting that brief introduction, you can now learn how to analyze this. So to analyze the correlation, you go to analyze, then you move to correlate. Then you click by variate. You need to select the variables. Use those variables which are combined. The combined variables from the question should be all of them. That's variable 1, 2, 3, 4. Then move them to the other side. Now we are going to do the Pearson. Don't select the spearman or candles. We are going to do the two-tailed. Then you click. Now this is your correlation. So you can see correlation. You can see there's the two sides, this side and the upper side. You have internal integration, supplier, all those on the other side. So it has two sides. You can see here in the middle there's 1, 1, 1. In other words, when we are going to correlate each variable with itself, if you correlate the variable with itself, the correlation is 1. So here you can see this is Pearson correlation, and this is the variables of those values which are correlated to each other. Then you need to know that the n is the number of respondents. or the sample size. Then the least significance today is 0.01. 0.001. Yeah, you can see the ratio between done integration and supply integration is 0.773, 0.25, and so on. So you can check now if, for example, if you want to interpret now the relationship between done integration and supply integration, you can see it is 0.73. Remember we said between 0.7 to 0.3, that's a strong correlation. And because our variable is positive, it says that's a strong positive correlation. In other words, it means when internal integration increases, supply integration also increases. For customer integration, you see is 0.2. It means that's a weak correlation. It means that's 0.2. That's a weak correlation. Internal integration and environmental is negative 0.0. Yeah, so that's a weak negative correlation. Then the internal integration operational efficiency is 0.406. That's a moderate. We said 0.4 to 0.6. That's a moderate. And that's a moderate correlation. That's how you interpret the correlations. Is that as simple as that? So you can see that the upper side and the lower side, it is the same. So you can use either the figures are exactly the same as the upper one. So if you want to say internal integration and operation efficiency, this side, if you check, you can see it is the same. And the upper side, it is the same. So if you want to check the relation between one variable and the other, you can check. For example, if internal integration and the customer integration, check. Internal integration and the customer integration is 0.25. Yeah, that is it. That's it, guys. That's the simplest way of analyzing this correlation. The correlation basically tells you the relation between two variables, whether they are related positively or negatively. Yeah. Thank you for watching. I request you to subscribe, share, comment, and like. Thank you. See you.